Hello everyone, welcome back to the Active Cowboy podcast, episode 7. We're almost 3 episodes till episode 10. I try to keep up with it, and hopefully I can do something big for episode 10. Maybe I'll do for every 50 episodes. But anyways, let's get further ado. Let's talk about power rankings. But also, like I said on Tuesday, we're not going to talk about the Cowboy game because we already made a separate video on that rant. So hope you guys enjoyed that rant, so like that. I think a couple people liked it, and so like that. Another good amount of views on it, so that's fine. So anyways, folks, let's get right into the power rankings. At number 10, I got the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens have dropped down 6 spots. Last week they were at number 4. They went down obviously because they lost to the Cleveland Browns, and I'm not too fond of them right now. They're looking very fraudulent, and Lamar Jackson is hurt right now, so he's dealing with a back injury, I suppose he's dealing with. So unless it's really a big deal, then Ravens are screwed. But I'm sure they'll be fine. They have a big matchup against the Broncos, and maybe the Broncos win this week. Who knows? But Ravens, I got them at 10 this week. Last week, number 10 was the Chicago Bears. They did not make it. Though, in honorable mentions, though, I'm gonna have the Broncos, the Atlanta Falcons, and the Chicago Bears as my honorable mentions. Broncos is because they're playing good ball right now, and they're having high momentum. Yes, they beat the Panthers, but it's moral victories. Everyone gets those victories, and they have a good record. It's not like they have a horrible record to not hang their hat on, so like that. So we got the Broncos at honorable mention. The Atlanta Falcons beating the Buccaneers, sweeping the Buccaneers. It's a pretty big thing, and they're riding really big right now. And Kirk Cousins is playing his best ball since last year right now, and they got a big game against Dallas this week. My Dallas Cowboys, and so we'll see how they test with the Cowboys. They hadn't had so much success with Dallas. We'll see how the Falcons handle the situation. Anyways, number 9, I had the Philadelphia Eagles. Last week, they were in my honorable mentions. They were at number 11 last week in my power rankings. This week they move up 2 spots after being the Cincinnati Bengals. You know me, I'm not a big Eagles fan. I'm a big UNT Eagles fan, but not Philadelphia Eagles fan. So they are winning games, but they're not being good teams. They're being down on bad teams. Like the Browns, the Giants, they barely beat the Packers, got blown out by the Saints. Not the Saints, the Buccaneers, got beat by Kirk Cousins on prime time, and barely beating the Saints. When they could have easily won that game, and then beating the Bengals. The Bengals are just disappointing this year. So we'll see how they do this week. Eagles. I think the Eagles are playing the Jaguars this week. It'll be funny if they if they lose to Jacksonville, but they're probably just gonna win, and they're gonna say, "Oh, we had another confident win. We're the best NFC East team," when really it's the Commanders. So we'll see how they do. But I got Eagles at 9. Last week at number 9 was the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we'll see where I put the Steelers at in the power rankings. At number 8, I got the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota dropped down this past week. Last week they were at number 3. Dropped only 2 spots because they got beat by the Lions. But I had to drop them down low this time because they lost to the Rams. They're still in the top 10. It's just they're just losing games, and I feel like they're now collapsing. It's almost like in 2016 when they were undefeated and they lost their last matchups in 2016. So maybe it could happen. Maybe history repeats itself. But I feel like the Minnesota Vikings they're starting to show cracks now. Everyone's starting to figure out who they are as a team. They're figuring out how to neutralize Justin Jefferson, Darnold, and especially that defense. That defense, especially the Brian Flores defense that they're figuring out. So it's not a bad thing. Many Minnesota rebounds. They have a big game against the Colts on Sunday Night Football this week. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. So number 8, I got the Minnesota Vikings. Number 7, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 7. Steelers last week, they were at number 9 last week, actually. That's what I didn't say. But last week's number 7 was the Green Bay Packers, and just like with Steelers, we'll talk about them once we get to the Green Bay Packers. Steelers beating. I mean, they barely beat the Giants, but the Giants were coming back whenever they were getting blown out. Like it was like 23 or 26-9, and so they're finding ways to win, and they're letting Russ cook. It's looking like Russell Wilson is back into his like Seahawks days, not Denver ways. Maybe it was because Nathaniel Hackett was so bad that first year, and then Sean Payton, he had to figure out Russell Wilson. He had to basically figure him out something like that to see how he works, and I guess it just didn't work out. But him under Mike Tomlin, he's doing phenomenal with the Steelers. So, and the defense is still great. You got T.J. Watt. The receiver is still great over there at Pittsburgh, like Calvin Austin and Najee Harris and stuff like that. And those guys over there, but they're finding ways to win. That's the only thing that matters. And they got a good record. They're lucky that Baltimore lost to Cleveland, and now they reclaim the AFC North title for now at least. But if Baltimore continues to self-destruct, hopefully Cincinnati can come back and do better, and maybe Cleveland can rise up again with Jameis Winston. If those things don't happen, it's looking like the Steelers are going to win the AFC North this year, which is going to be crazy, but it's just how the NFL works. But anyways, number 6, I got the Houston Texans. Last week, the Texans were at number 8 last week. Wait, did I talk about number 8? Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't talk about who was at number 8 last week. But Texans were at number 8 last week. They went up 2 spots this week. Last week's number 6 was the Bills, but we'll talk about the Bills when we get to them. Texans, I would say they're looking better. They barely escaped Indianapolis, but they lost to the Jets yesterday, and they're dealing with a whole lot of losses lately. Like they lost Stephon Diggs, they lost last night to the Jets, and and Stroud's not looking good. Like the magic he had is just poof, gone. I don't know why he's having such a big a down year when he had such a great year last year, but it just happens to all quarterbacks that have big years like that. Their first year and then the second year is just bad, but he'll get better. He's a big believer in God, and I'm glad he puts his faith in his team. They're gonna be just fine, and I think the Texans will be just fine. But they do got a game. Who do they have this week? They're not on bye. Yeah, like I said, they lost to the Jets, and I don't even know who they're playing next week. They might be on bye next week, though, unfortunately. Oh, no, they got the Lions next week on Sunday Night Football, which that's going to be a really good game and a big test for the Texans next week. But we'll see what happens. Number 5, I got the Green Bay Packers moving up from 7 to 5. Last week, number 5 was the Washington Commanders. And Packers are looking, they barely beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Jaguars are looking like a horrible team this year. But, the kicker, that's all they have. If we were the Packers right now, Brandon Aubrey would be the main man of our team right now. But the Packers, Jordan Love is a little banged up, and he's probably most likely going to play this Sunday against the Lions. But you can't down. It's the same thing with these teams. They're just finding ways to win by field goals or some random magic bullcrap that they're winning right now. But you can't deny the Packers, and they are in the race right now for the NFC North. Now that Minnesota is possibly collapsing, Chicago, they're there, but I don't think they're going to be competitive. But we'll see how they do. So I got the Packers at number 5. Number 4, I got the Buffalo Bills. Last week they were at number 6. This week they're at number 4, moving up 2 spots. Last week's number 4 was the Baltimore Ravens. They blew out the Seahawks in a very good game. Just pure domination over the Seahawks. Only 1 touchdown, neutralizing Geno and stuff like that. I think Buffalo is truly back now. Buffalo, I think, is back to being that dominant team, just like that. So, they're probably going to win the AFC East this year again. I was hoping for Miami, but not anymore, I guess. Because Miami's, pure garbage this year. But Bills, I don't think they play anyone tough soon. If anything, they're looking at the Chiefs game in a couple of weeks from now. That's when I really think that's gonna be really their first real test, because they have Indianapolis and the Dolphins these next 2 weeks. Those are easily winnable games for Buffalo. So I just really don't think they're gonna have any tests coming up, and they're gonna have a better record until the Chiefs game, and we'll see how that is. It's in Buffalo, so maybe they have a chance to win that game. But anyways, I got the Bills at number 4. Number 3, I got the Washington Commanders. I boosted them up 2 points as well. After winning in that overtime thriller, or not overtime thriller, but winning last minute against the Chicago Bears by just a Hail Mary from Jaden Daniels. The Commanders, they're the best team in the NFC East. I can't deny it. I used to didn't want to say it, but I feel like the Washington finally has their franchise quarterback. I have to give him props. Daniels is looking like a really good quarterback, and he's got his weapons in Eckler and Ertz and his other supporting cast and Terry McLaurin. I just think they're looking like a playoff team right now. And Dan Quinn, I can't hate on the guy. He's finding ways to win, and you can't deny it. So number 3, I had the Commanders. Last week was the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously they dropped down. Number 2, controversial take. I do have the Detroit Lions at number 2. Now here's why I put them at number 2. I only put them by record and how. I mean, yes, you can argue the Lions should be at number 1, but the Chiefs are still undefeated and they still have that one advantage. That's what I really want to put the Lions at 1. I really do, but I just have to put the Chiefs at 1 because they're still undefeated. And I just spoiled the number 1. But Lions, they're looking like a Super Bowl team right now. Their games they have won are legitimate. Now their only loss has been to Tampa Bay. There's no shame in losing to Tampa Bay. They honestly could have been undefeated right now if we're being honest right now. But it's all right. I think Detroit is definitely my favorite to win the NFC this year. Now that my Cowboys are garbage this year. They haven't made the power rankings in 4 weeks from now. 4 weeks. Last time they made the power rankings was week 4, week 3, and then they haven't been in the power rankings in 2 months now. So I just have the Lions. They're looking like they're the team I would bandwagon for personally, especially dying for that coach of Dan Campbell. I would personally die for him and take a tackle for him. But anyways, you already know it. It's obvious. Number 1 is the Kansas City Chiefs. No surprises there. The 3P continues to be a real thing. I mean, they beat the Raiders, but the Raiders only scored in garbage time touchdowns. So, I mean, Pat Mahomes looks good. Kelsey finally caught a touchdown, but it was also National Tight Ends Day. And DeAndre Hopkins looks good. Worthy looks good, and Kareem Hunt looks like actual good player again, and because he hasn't been like this in years. But now he's with Mahomes, he's back to looking like a Pro Bowler now. So I feel like there's nothing stopping the Chiefs unless the Lions. The Lions will stop the Chiefs if they meet in the Super Bowl. But number 1's the Chiefs. What more can I say? They're just that team that needs to be stopped in order to stop a 3-peat. But anyways, folks. To recap, number 10, I got the Ravens. Number 9 is the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 8 is the Minnesota Vikings. Number 7 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 6 is the Houston Texans. Number 5 is the Green Bay Packers. Number 4 is the Buffalo Bills. Number 3 is the Washington Commanders. Number 2 is the Detroit Lions. And number 1 is the Kansas City Chiefs. But anyways, moving on from power rankings, let's talk about predictions. Now, I didn't do it yesterday because I only took off yesterday because it was Halloween and I had some Halloween activities I wanted to go to. Kind of similar to what Brandon Perna did. I think he did film Thursday Night Football, but he was trick-or-treating with his daughter and, his wife was there. With me, I had to go to the church event, and so, we were all together, so couldn't do an episode yesterday, but we'll go back to doing Thursdays on next week. But anyways, if I didn't do the podcast yesterday, I would have picked the Texans, but I already got one wrong already. So 0-1 already, or wherever you're filming. I'm filming at 1-1, whatever. 0-1. So you already saw the Jets beat the Texans because apparently the Texans are nothing without Diggs and a lot of the receivers. They're most likely going to pick up someone in the trade deadline. Just I don't know who. Maybe Adam Thielen or something. I don't know. But anyways, let's talk about the real games for Sunday. Starting off with Sunday, start off the 12 o'clock games. We have Saints versus Panthers. This is probably going to be a toilet bowl match. But the Saints are getting Derek Carr back this week. They could be better. Chris Olave did say he is going to be he wants to wear a guardian cap. So we'll see how that he does. I mean, he has a lot of concussion history. But I think if I were to predict, if they're getting Derek Carr back, I'm going to pick the Saints to win. Nothing else to say there. It's another matchup where Bryce Young is playing. No. Anyways, and last time they two met, the Saints blew out the Panthers. So we'll see. Next up at the next game, Commanders Giants. I had to go to the Giants because it just helps out. I still have my false aspirations for the Cowboys, so I'm legally obligated to pick the Giants in an NFC rivalry matchup. So I know the Commanders are probably most likely to win because the Giants are garbage this year. I mean, they played against Steelers tough. The Steelers pretty tough, but I think the Commanders are probably most likely to win. But for me, I just got to go to the Giants. That's just me. Sorry, folks. Next game, Dolphins, Bills. The Dolphins are going to easily get destroyed by the Bills. Yes, they had Tua back, but the last time these two met with each other, Thursday Night Football, the Bills were completely dominating the Dolphins. And yes, the Dolphins almost beat the Cardinals, but they just look sluggish all game. So, and Tua just doesn't look ready yet, in my opinion, from what I saw in that game last week. But it's just, I think Buffalo's going to win this easily, hands down. But I think Buffalo's going to win. Next game up, what's an interesting one? I don't know who to pick for this one. Chargers, Browns. Now, if Deshaun was playing, I would pick the Chargers easily. Now that Jameis is in, he beat the Ravens. I could honestly see myself picking the Browns. Surprisingly, I know it's crazy, but I feel like the Cleveland Browns are most likely because the Chargers, they're winning games, but also they're like choking some games, especially that Cardinals game. You can't forget about that. Tua is back too early. Exactly. And he even looks sluggish during game. And for him, and I like Tua, but him to say all this stuff during his press conference, saying they're not there, they don't know what the game is. We don't know the game. That should be blatantly obvious, but can we not give our senses out? I mean, I'm a former player. I have a reason to say, oh, this player should be doing this or something like that, or why this is happening. But it's journalism, sports journalism is just weird like that, and we just don't get the proper respect we do nowadays because we're just getting dog kind of oh, why are you asking these questions? So it's all right. Don't need to be mad about. But I'm gonna pick the Browns to win. Next up, we got another toilet bowl matchup, and the Patriots versus the Titans. God help us all, because this game is going to be hard to watch. Very, very hard to watch. I honestly don't know who's going to win. I guess the Patriots, because they beat the Jets and they have the better record over the Titans. But also, I feel like Mason Rudolph can win, but Mason Rudolph didn't win the last time he played the Patriots. I don't know. Both teams suck. They should deserve a loss. These two teams are tanking pretty much. I mean, if it was Patriots, they're mocked to be drafting probably Travis Hunter, but I don't know. I'm just gonna go for the Patriots because I don't care. I don't really care. But if I had to pick, if I had a gun to my head and say, "Oh, who are you gonna pick?" I'm just gonna pick the Patriots. I'm sorry. I don't know. Next up, we got my Dallas Cowboys versus the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to pick the Cowboys. I'm so sorry. Again, it's me being a fan. I have to stick by my team. Even if it pains me to do it, I have to stick with my Cowboys. I am so sorry, folks. But it'd be nice to beat the Falcons. But it's Kirk Cousins we're talking about. Kyle Pitts is looking much better than in his previous seasons. Same with Bijan Robinson, Drake London. And, Atlanta still has that defense. Still looking stout. I think it's going to be hard to beat them. And it's playing in Atlanta. It might be a tough game for us. And we can honestly be looking at 3-5. But it'd be nice to be 4-4. It'd be nice. But we'll see. But I'm going to go for the Cowboys. And I'm probably going to be most likely wrong. But it's okay to be wrong. To be better than not in the end. Next up, we got... Yeah, Atlanta's probably going to win, But you know me, false ambitions into the Cowboys, false hope. Next up, we got the Raiders and Bengals. These two haven't met up in 2 years, actually. Last time these two teams met up was in the AFC wildcard game from 2022. The Bengals, I think, are gonna win. Yes, the Bengals didn't beat the Eagles last week, and they look very sluggish. They're very disappointing right now. I would be kind of mad if they lose, though. I would be really disappointed if they were to lose the Bengals. But I'm going to go for the Bengals. The Bengals should win this one. It's an easy game for them. And the Raiders are not looking like a good team this year. Especially with Gardner Minshew under center. But we'll see how the Bengals do. Hopefully T. Higgins will play. And I'm sure Burrow can hopefully have a better game. Next up, we got an interesting game to end off the 12 o'clock game. I'm afraid this game's not at 3. But it's Broncos and Ravens. I'm actually going to go for the Broncos to win because now that Baltimore lost to the Browns, I think Denver could have a chance to beat them. I really do. And especially how Lamar didn't practice at all this week with his back injury. They have a chance to beat the Ravens, and it'd be the funniest thing ever. But even if they lose to the Ravens, there's no shame in them because they're 5-3. They have a winning record right now. And as long as they can win, and hopefully the Chiefs lose a game, then they can compete with the AFC West, like with the Chargers and the Chiefs. Because that's a 3-man race right now in the AFC West. It's Broncos, Chargers, and Chiefs. But we'll see. But I got the Broncos winning in an upset. Next up, we got the Chicago Bears versus the Arizona Cardinals. These two teams are no stranger of competing with each other in the past couple of years. They always play each other a lot in the past year. Last year and 2 years ago. But it should be a fun game. It's probably gonna be a Air Force showdown. Just whoever's the fastest quarterback, run. Ravens bounce back and win this week. Maybe. I mean, they lost to Jameis Winston last week, and Lamar is dealing with an injury right now, so that's why I picked the Broncos to win. And Sean Payton is starting to build up Bo Nix as a big quarterback. He's basically treating him as Drew Brees, and he's slowly building him as the next Drew Brees. So that's why I say the Ravens are going to lose this week. But going back to the Bears and Cardinals game, I'm actually going to go for the Cardinals after their big win against the Dolphins. I would pick the Bears, but I'm going to go for the Cardinals because Murray is looking like he's starting to get better, and as long as he's throwing to Marvin Harrison, they're just going to create a big duo. And as long as they combine with each other, combine their forces together, they're going to win games like that, ending games like that. But I'm going to go for the Cardinals. Next up, we got the original Sunday Night Football game that got flexed out to the 3:05. I should have mentioned the Broncos and Ravens was the last game to finish off the 12 o'clock games, and then Bears and Cardinals start off the 3 o'clock games. The second one it was Jacksonville versus Philadelphia. Like I said, this was an original Sunday night game that was supposed to happen but got flexed out for another game we'll talk about who actually got replaced to Sunday night. Which is understandable. Jacksonville looks horrible this year. They only flexed this because they were both horrible, but now that Philly's winning games, the media is just going to get open arms for the Eagles again. So I want the Jacksonville Jaguars to win, but I feel like the Eagles are going to blow them out, unfortunately. But again, just like how I picked my Cowboys and I picked the Giants, false ambitions. I'm sorry. So I'm probably going to get 3 games wrong this weekend. But hey, I can only lose 3. I'll be okay with it. Because all season I've been like 10 wins, 9 wins in my pick'em league, which is fine. But anyways, I'm going to go for Jacksonville to win. Hopefully they can get a W. Next up, we got Rams and Seahawks. I'm actually going to go for the Rams on this one because now that they have Puka back and Cooper Kupp back as well, their offense was clicking on all cylinders last week against the Vikings and just neutralizing that Brian Flores defense in Minnesota. It helps them in their favor. But I do think the Rams will have a good game against the Seahawks and they'll beat Seattle. And plus, DK is still injured and Geno is still not the answer. I think you guys should draft the quarterback after this year. Maybe. I don't know. But I'm going to go for the Rams. Next up, rounding up the 3 o'clock games, we got America's Game of the Week for Fox. Lions versus Packers in Lambeau Field. It's going to be a big game. I can't wait for this game. It's going to be a true clash of the Titans in the NFC North for this game. I think whoever wins maybe will control the NFC North. Who knows? But I'm going to go for the Green Bay. Just kidding. I ain't picking the Green Bay Packers. I'm picking the Detroit Lions. Like I said earlier, the Lions, in my opinion, are my team to win the NFC this year. Now that my Cowboys are just garbage. The Lions they're just a great team. They're a Super Bowl team. And the way Dan Campbell is just coaching these guys, he should automatically be Coach of the Year. Give the man the respect he deserves. Because Dan Campbell is truly one of the last, I would say, coaches in the league that is a true hard ass in the league. Because he will he'll like yell at you. He's gonna get on your ass about these things. He's an exceptional coach, and I just think me supporting that, I should support the Lions as well. So I'm going to go for the Detroit Lions to win and still hold on to the NFC North title. Next, and there's no shame for Green Bay losing. No shame at all. It's and now it's a race between those two now that Minnesota is collapsing and Chicago. Chicago, I mean, they're there, but they're again another rebuilding team. They always rebuild every year, but I'm gonna go for the the Lions to win. Next up, we got the Colts versus Vikings. This was also originally supposed to be a 3 o'clock game for Fox, but it got flexed to Sunday Night Football, which is pretty big because the Colts will be playing another Sunday night game 2 weeks in a row. Not next week, because next week's Lions and Texans, but next week against the New York Jets next week, or in 2 weeks from now. So it's pretty big for them. Now that Joe Flacco's in, and also too, we're gonna have another serious conversation. Because we talked about the whole Deshaun Watson debacle last week. This week we're gonna talk about something way different. We're gonna talk about Anthony Richardson. I'm glad he got benched. I really do. Because who says, oh, I'm tired. I didn't feel like finishing the drive. Let me get it straight. So, when I was an offensive lineman in football in high school, and I never got tired. Yeah, I would huff and puff, but in my inner voice, I would tell me, no, keep going. You're not tired. You still gotta help these guys win the game. You know, I'm obviously not fat like I used to be like offensive lineman, but I know what it was like. And I can ask other people too who are in the sport. If you're a lineman or a skill player, you don't say, "Oh, I'm tired." So like that, I don't even feel like finishing the game. Who says that? That's losers and people who give up and so like that. And I don't want to see anybody defending Anthony Richardson for saying that. That is horrible on him, and that's embarrassing for him to say like that. So I am glad he got benched. He deserved to be benched. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if anyone calls me this or that. You're just mad or anything like that. Like, no. You don't say that in the league. If you yourself should finish the game. And you had a chance to win the game against the Texans. But just to do that, say you're tired, you take yourself out because you got tired. No. Even Caleb Williams. Even Caleb Williams doesn't do that. He does suck up like his parents. He cries like that, but he doesn't go out in injury and say, "I got tired," or he takes himself out of the games. No, he at least finished games, and other people do. So just for you to say that, screw you, man, for doing that, and you don't deserve any of the respect you deserve. You're always injured all the time. You're an overrated quarterback, and you had one good year in Florida, but you were a raw quarterback. That's it. He's a quitter. He's a quitter, and he doesn't care about this organization. He doesn't want to win at all. So I think this was more angry than last week. Cause last week I had to be like really toned down because not toned down, but I had to be like talk like slowly because of the whole Deshaun Watson thing about him being injured. But this week I'm going full ham with the rants, especially with my Cowboys and 49ers game that you guys should check out on my YouTube channel. But also with how I'm ranting about Anthony Richardson, because you just don't say that. You don't do that in that league, especially in the NFL. You don't do that. You're literally going against grown men doing that type of stuff, and you want to win your game. But anyway, I want to rant more, but we got to finish the podcast. Anyways, back to the topic of Colts Vikings Sunday Night Football. I do think the Colts are going to win though. Joe Flacco is going to continue run his team to success, and he's going to do what he did with Cleveland last year, just continuously build up, not win a lot, but win some games, and then maybe become a playoff contender. But also maybe division as well, maybe, because Houston's kind of self-destructing right now, and maybe they can take advantage of it and win. We'll see. We'll see though. We'll see. But like I said, I got the Indianapolis Colts winning. Minnesota, I think everyone's starting to figure out them each week, and it's starting to look like they're going to start collapsing even more. Also, I forgot to mention too, the teams that are on bye this week are Pittsburgh Steelers and the San Francisco 49ers. Just want to put that out there. But anyways, hold on guys. Yeah, I'll do that later. I'll look at it later. But last but not least, Monday Night Football, Buccaneers, Chiefs. It's probably going to be the Chiefs. It's crazy. The Buccaneers were on Monday Night Football like a couple weeks ago. Like 2 weeks ago? And now they're on Monday night again. Crazy. But there it is played in Arrowhead. Chiefs win, LOL, I guess. I hope Tampa Bay puts up a fight. But the way that they lost to the Falcons and they're dealing with injuries, I think the Chiefs are probably going to win, unfortunately. So, yay! 3P! Let's go! Excellent, as always. Thank you. Not thank you, though. But anyways, folks, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Oh, actually, let's go over who I picked and recap. So, I did pick the Texans. I got that one wrong, obviously. Then I got the Saints winning. The Giants, Bills, Browns, Patriots, Cowboys, Bengals, Broncos, Cardinals, Jaguars, Rams, Lions, Colts, and Chiefs. So there you have it, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This will be uploaded on YouTube like I do. I'm going to upload it on Twitch and also YouTube the next day. So thank you guys for watching the podcast, and I'll see you guys Sunday for the Cowboys game stream. So anyway, I'll see you guys on Sunday. See you.